Well, well, well. With that stronghold of Tory votes, the aspirational middle class, thoroughly irritated with the Conservative Party, and an election coming up in a few weeks, suddenly Jeremy Hunt has discovered that inheritance tax is against Tory values. They've only been in power since 2010. Who'd have thought it? I'm granniopteryx. You know, I always thought that inheritance tax was just about the nastiest sort of tax anyone could possibly impose, a tax on the dead. It used to keep me awake at night, thinking that, because like many middle-class families in London, we didn't have much in the bank, but we had a lot in the house. A house which we'd bought for very little when we bought it had suddenly skyrocketed in price over the years. And it occurred to me, well, it worried me a great deal, that what would happen if my husband and myself, if we were killed in a, sudden, an accident, car accident, something like that, then our three boys would end up having to sell the family home to pay the tax that was on the privilege of them becoming orphans. It was, it really did keep me awake. And I remember there was another situation, dreadful problem. It was a newspaper report. I don't know what happened, but there were two sisters. They'd grown up in the family home. They'd lived in the family home together, for all the world like a married couple, I suppose. And then in their old age, because they were simple people, they didn't have trusts and they didn't know about, protecting investments and all that sort of thing. It suddenly struck them that if one of them died, the other one would have to sell the house. Because although a wife or a husband doesn't pay inheritance tax when a spouse dies, those two women were not married. They was just sisters, and they'd been living together all their lives, and the house was probably going to be worth quite a lot. When one of them died, the inheritance, and they obviously owned a half share each. When one of them died, the other one would have to sell the house and move out of the family home they'd been in all their lives to pay the inheritance tax. And it's just a horrible, horrible thing. And now suddenly, Jeremy Hunt has decided that it's a horrible thing. And there are many now, they are thinking more of it now, because the inheritance tax was originally aimed at people who had large estates, but now nearly anyone who owns a house in London or any of the metropolitan areas is in the same trouble. And suddenly Hunt's realised that, we'll dangle this carrot in front of the middle classes so they'll go out and vote for us. It's not going to help. It's not going to help because we don't trust the Conservatives anymore. Actually, in my opinion, the best thing that could happen is if the Conservatives won a minority government and then Reform got in. They'd exert some control over each other. But that's just, that might be pie in the sky as well. I remember how happy I was in 2019 when the Conservatives won that landslide vote. Look what they did with it. What a disaster. And now, carrot, carrot, carrot. Inheritance taxes are suddenly against Tory values. You bloody hypocrite. You nasty little man. You bunch of complete tossers. All right, well, that's enough on the inheritance tax. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.